na midi, lona na pourquoi. Prière epolaka te maombi. Lona na tongo, lona na midi, lona na pourquoi. Prière epolaka te maombi. Aïe 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 aïe. Prière epolaka te losambo. Prière epolaka te maombi. Prière fongola ya passe partout ya balongi. Prière epolaka te maombi. Prière fongola kababote ya lola. Prière epolaka te maombi. Prière fongola kababote ya mabota tuzima pasa. Prière epolaka te maombi. Ebalisaka baofela mpe bazwi bakomi bariche. Prière epolaka te maombi. Prière epesaka onction na ministère balobi na simikisi. Prière epolaka te maombi. Anazwa Samuel kaka likolo kolona prière. Prière epolaka te maombi. Na Babylone badora nzambe ya Daniel po alona losambo. Prière epolaka te. L'impossible n'est pas Jésus. Prière epolaka te losambo. L'impossible n'est pas Jésus. Prière epolaka te maombi. Prière epolaka te losambo. Prière epolaka te maombi. Nalona losambo. Nalona losambo. Prière efongolaka baporte oyo ata ezwa Bambi. Prière oyo nako tika te. Ata oza na prison ya ndenge nini. Porte bakangi te eza kolona losambo. Lona na tongo, lona na midi, lona na pourquoi. Priez sans cesse, et le bakolo Yesu. Inana yo! Aha! Inagas! Inagas! Golo Yesu, Osamwe Pudaka. Golo Nama yo 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 yo, Namwe Pudaka. Golo Yesu, Osamwe Pudaka. Prière epolaka te, prière epolaka te, oh, prière epolaka te, maombi, Osamwe Pudaka. L'impossible n'est pas Jésus-Christ. Alléluia. Bana Goshen City Church, na Dallas. Olembate, oebike prière epolaka te. Pasteur Mathieu MPINDA, prière epolaka te. Prière efutaka.
I came to testify since our dad said that even if it's a small testimony, come and testify. So I'm going to give you all a testimony of how I was born and then what God did for me throughout my lifespan. So my mother, when she got married, when she went into her marital home, she could not give birth. And so they came to sit the family down. So if you could please understand, I'm not really used to speaking with the microphone. So they came to sit down the family, and our aunt, she said that the money that they give was not enough. And so then they gave her more money, and so when my mother went back home, she could be able to give birth. And so she gave birth to 2 boys and then another girl, and I'm the 4th girl. And so then when she was about to give birth to me, she was sleeping on the floor and she saw something coming before her. And so while she was trying to scream out loud and run away, it strangled her around the neck. And she started fighting with that hand. And so she was Catholic, but regardless of that, she said, "So God, are you trying to kill me?" And then that hand it disappeared, and then she fell on the floor. And then a couple moments later, she gave birth to me. A couple months later, my dad, he went for a business trip in Brazzaville. And they called her and they said that your husband is very sick. And so since I was still a baby, she took me and went with me. The same day that she arrived, that night she said that, you know, those Nigerian movies, when you watch it, those are actually true events. So she saw someone wearing all black. And so they were entering into the room and they were in a line. And they surrounded the bed in which my dad was laying in. What they were saying, he could not understand it. He just heard them call his name and he woke up because he was already in a coma. He opened his eyes. And so the people that were surrounding him, they made some kind of sign. And then he went back to sleep, and then he saw those same people leave. And a couple hours later, he died. And so my mother, she went back home, and according to his family, she's the one that killed him. And so they did all the ceremonies that needed to be done. They took away my older siblings, and since I was still a baby, I stayed with my mother. And she tried to kind of take her own children, but they wouldn't let her. Our grandfather said, "No, don't try to take your children away. You don't do that." And so since she was working, she just left. One day she said, "Okay, let me go take a visit to my children," and her children did not even remember her. And the Baluba culture, they make children eat something so that they forget about their parents. And so my mom was very mad, and she said that I am taking my children back. She went and she basically went to the court to take them back. And so they let her take her children back. They actually they concluded by saying that, "Oh, since there's 2 boys and 1 girl, you can take the girl and the 2 boys will go with their the other family."
Donc grand-parents nanga na grand-mère nanga côté ya papa balobaki mabe sur biso bana basi ke bakokonga te bakufa babela etali biso te ba modile biso.
And my grandparents from my dad's side, they started cursing us, saying that we'll never be able to give birth, we'll never get married. And so then when we went back home with our mother, we just started getting sick out of nowhere. And so I was in a better case because I was not eating what they fed them. And so I became anemic. So they kept trying to give me blood about every month. And so one day my mother met with my adoptive parents, and she didn't even like them. And one day she came home looking for me, and they told her that I was at the hospital. And when they followed me to the hospital, they saw that they already took blood from my mother. And the next day they said that I still needed more blood. And by the grace of God, when my dad arrived, he had the same blood type as me, so he gave his blood to me. And so that's when my adoptive dad and my mother, they rejoined and they got married. But regardless of that, I was still sick.
Il s'est fait que mon maman venait pour travailler dans la ligne aérienne, on venait pour voyager souvent, on venait pour voyager.
And so my mother, she had a travel job, so we would travel together.
C'était un samedi.
And on a Saturday, on Saturday she traveled at night. And Sunday morning we went to Sunday school. And while I was at the Sunday school, I had a horrible fever. My brother, he carried me on his back and we went home. And when we arrived home, they gave me medicine. And I started throwing up. And my dad told one of my aunts to take me to a clinic around where I live. And when we arrived there, they gave me a needle on my right leg. And so I felt as if there was like something blocking my leg from up to down. It was going very quickly. And so they told me, okay, stand up, and I stood up, I fell back down. And so they told me stand up, and I kept falling. But thank God, because while I was over there, I was also in the medical field some type of way. And so he told me, he said, how are you feeling? And I explained to him. And then he went to the doctor. And so he started calling everyone. He called people that were in my house to come over. And so they tried to touch me on my right leg to see if I could feel anything, but no, nothing, everything was numb. So I was basically paralyzed.
Lundi, papa lobi ba me manga ba ki osala radio ba vérifier si réellement il touchait qui.
On Monday, they told me, my dad told me to go back to the hospital to have an X-ray done to see if there's still something wrong. And so when we went back to the doctor basically said that I would never be able to walk. They took me to another department and nothing changed. And they just kept taking me from one place to another. And there was no solution found, so we came to the conclusion. And they brought me to a hospital for those who are paralyzed in Wileri. And so when we arrived there, I started the treatment. And for a whole year there was no change. The doctor that was there with me, and I even stopped going to school. I was like a student for that doctor. So they would drop me off at that hospital, and then after that they would take me back home. And so that doctor said that your child will never be able to walk. It's better for us to give her a brace so that she can walk with it. And so they made a brace for me. Because one of my legs was its normal size and another one was not. And so they made me wear this brace, and it was like there was a funeral happening in my house now. I just found myself as if I had no value. I stopped going to school. Since my mother, she had to pay for the bills, so she had to travel, and I never even traveled with her ever again. And so she started taking me to church to pray because she didn't have any more hope. Even if I knew that we were going to prayer, I would tell her that I don't want to go. And so she went to a doctor. Oh, par cercle. And so he came out of there, and there was like a park in another environment next to it. And so my mother saw that they were going into a park. And she said, okay, what kind of moms are these? And so she just followed them by curiosity. And so when she arrived to the place that they were heading, she saw a woman that was testifying. So according to that woman's testimony, she was saying that, oh, God healed my husband. He's the Jehovah Rapha. And so she didn't know what to really pray about. She just remembered Jehovah Rapha. And so every day her prayer was, Jehovah Rapha, please heal my child. The same day when she came back, she saw that I took off my brace, my leg brace. And so my parents, they basically came to the conclusion that I'm a handicap. When my father came, he started begging me and told me, please put your brace back on. Because if your mom comes back, she's basically going to be very mad. And so I said, no, no, no. When my mother came and she saw me like that, she acted as if she didn't see anything. And so then my dad told her, he said that your daughter does not want to wear her leg brace anymore. And so she called all my aunts and said that don't let anybody force her to wear the brace, just leave her alone. And so God healed me without anybody praying for me. It is just by how my mother took faith that Jehovah Rapha is capable of everything. My leg was just like those who are paralyzed. So this is why I came to testify. So my leg just started coming back to its normal form. It started being stretched out once again. Because the brace that they gave me was so that my legs can be balanced. So my leg came back to its normal form without anybody touching me. And by the grace of God, that God, He brought me here into the United States. By the grace of God, I also got married. By the grace of God, He also gave me children. I was the one who was not honored or considered. May God bless you.
PRIÈRE pour la cate Naomie. PRIÈRE pour la cate Losambo. PRIÈRE pour la cate Naomie.
PRIÈRE pour la cate Losambo. PRIÈRE pour la cate Naomie. PRIÈRE pour la cate Losambo.
lona na midi, lona na pokwa prière epolaka te maombi. Lona na tongo, lona na midi, lona na pokwa prière epolaka te maombi. Aïe 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 aïe.
Prière epolaka te losambo. Prière epolaka te maombi.
Prière efongola ya passe-partout ya balongi.
Prière epolaka te maombi.
Prière efongolaka babote ya lola.
Prière epolaka te maombi.
Prière efongolaka babote ya mabota tozi mapasa.
Prière epolaka te maombi.
Ebalisaka baorfele mpe bazwi bakomi bariche.
Prière epolaka te maombi.
Na ministère balobi na simikisi. Prière epolaka te maombi. Anazwa Samuel kaka likolo kolona prière. Prière epolaka te maombi. Na Babylone badora nzambe ya Daniel po alona losambo. Prière epolaka te. L'impossible n'est pas Jésus.
Prière epolaka te losambo.
L'impossible n'est pas Jésus.
Prière epolaka te maombi. Prière epolaka te losambo. Prière epolaka te maombi.
Nalona losambo. Nalona losambo. Prière efongolaka baporte oyo ata ezwa Bambi. Prière oyo nako tika te. Ata oza na prison ya ndenge nini porto bakangi te eza kolona losambo. Lona na tongo, lona na midi, lona na pokwa prière sans cesse eloba nkolo Yesu.
Ina na yo. Aha. Inagas. Inagas.
Kolo Yesu losambo efutaka. Kolo nanga yo 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 losambo efutaka. Kolo Yesu losambo efutaka. Prière epolaka te. Prière epolaka te oh. Prière epolaka te maombi. Losambo efutaka. L'impossible n'est pas Jésus-Christ. Alléluia. Bana Goshen City Church na Dallas. Olemba te. Oyebi prière epolaka te. Pasteur Mathieu MPINDA. Prière epolaka te. Prière efutaka.